Well, Parliament resumes less than a week ago, and he is the man steering the ship when it comes to the minority side. He's joining me tonight for a conversation. There's so much on his desk in Parliament that he's maneuvering, but there's also a lot that he's seeking to change. As far as this government is concerned, he's holding government's feet to the fire, and his opening, welcoming statement in Parliament set the tone. And I'm looking forward to asking him a few questions about that and what he really plans to achieve in this meeting and this Parliament life in general. And he is the first minority leader to face this particular hurdle because his side has 87 members, with the NDC side 185. It is not just a supermajority, it is a supermajority with an excess. And so he faces a monumental challenge. A challenge that no other minority leader before him has faced. But he says something very instructive, that it's not about the numbers, it is about substance, and they're going to win with substance. Tonight, he would explain a bit more what he meant when he said that and how he plans to achieve this Herculean task. You want to also look at the parliamentary elections and the trends over the period. And this, again, puts the matter in context. Never before have we seen this dynamic there between minority and majority in terms of the numbers. And so, yes, Afenyo-Markin, or Sahine himself, is really a man who is facing a challenging period that nobody before him had faced. But you know what they say? Great leaders are born in times like this. You need this challenge, and the way you handle it is what really defines you as far as history is concerned. I'm pretty sure that he's up for this task because he tells us he's up for the task. We'll pick his thoughts on that, how he is going to manage to maneuver in this very interesting period in Parliament's history. A conversation, a few things that we'll need to look at. Very interesting things indeed. The LGBTQ bill is back, and there's some controversy about it. And last week he said something very interesting that got a lot of us waiting to see how this will play out in the coming days. He says the majority side omo bepepa. I'll ask him what he meant by that when it came to this LGBTQ bill, which is set to become one of the most controversial subjects once again. And of course, there's a Chief Justice removal process, which is raised fundamental questions about. The vetting of the Chief Justice, the acting one, Bafo-Boni, will come before the vetting committee, where he is the vice chair. You have the MPP internal politics too, which is raging in Parliament among his minority members. A few of them held a press conference last week saying they support one particular candidate. That in itself can be a challenging act to try and deal with when you have so many of your MPs divided on lines as far as the leadership of the party is concerned. He needs to find a way to bring everybody else together. How is he managing to do that? We'll get his thoughts on that. We'll talk about the country. We'll talk about the country. We'll talk about Galamsey and his thoughts on it. I'm looking forward to this conversation. I'm pretty sure you are too. My guest is seated. I want to show you the man in the studio with us today. That is him, resplendent in his kente and white. And I'm delighted to say that he's my guest tonight on PM Express. Stay with me. After this, Sahine himself, my guest. And thanks for staying with us here on PM Express. It's always brought to you by Syntex Tanks. It is strong, it is tough. Academic Times, Pepsodent Cavity Fighter toothpaste also. Now, Syntex tank is the tank for you. You simply have to look for the tortoise on the tank. That's the confirmation that it is the right tank. That's right, the tortoise tank. Syntex Tanks is a champion of water tanks, and it is strong, it is tough. The Academic Times journal is launching pretty soon with 3 distinctive graphic publications and a journal to showcase and empower students across all educational levels, while the journal also will provide students with an opportunity to publish your research. Look out for it when it is out. And every time we eat, food and sugars are trapped between our teeth, leading to tooth decay, gum disease, and in some cases, foul breath. Brushing your teeth every morning and night with Pepsodent Cavity Fighter gives your teeth the protection it needs and leaves 10 times stronger teeth. Pepsodent, every smile matters. My guest in the studio, Osahin Alexander Kwamena Afenyo-Markin, is a minority leader, looking pretty resplendent in your kente. I must say, I don't remember the last time I saw you in one. What's the occasion?
Oh, Well, I think lately I've been watching Independence Ghana, political engagement, and I noticed that the era 57 all the way through, even to the Second Republic, Third Republic, political leaders, businessmen were very traditional and cultural. And even recently going to Nigeria, ECOWAS Parliament, Nigerians love their culture and they allow it to manifest in their dressing. I'm not in a way saying that we shouldn't be wearing suits, but I believe that our culture identifies us, and one of the ways to depict that is through your dressing. It tells who you are, and it gives you that sense of pride. And I think I will be doing more often with this. I mean, we did well with the fugu, the wearing of fugu, but it looks as if the wearing of the kente and tuma papa, you know, the wearing of the mama, is being relegated to...
You speak Ghana?
The one that we can survive with.
Okay, because the mama was well said.
Yeah, you know, so that we don't have to wait for occasions. So in Parliament, a member should be proud to be wearing kente. I was thrilled with seeing my respected senior at the bar, Kwame Akufu, wearing kente on a news file. It caught my attention that day, and I was touched.
Yeah.
That why are we not doing it? So I've planned to be doing more often my kente, and I'm getting some nice GTP as well, to be wearing GTP 12 yards. It's who we are, you know. Nkrumah did well with it. Second Republic too, you see the parliamentarians, political leaders, businessmen, Third Republic. But it looks like the Fourth Republic, we only do it on occasions. And I think it should be an everyday thing, you know. So I want to be doing that often.
Okay, we're going to see you on the floor.
I want to be doing that often. Okay. And I encourage colleagues to do that often. I mean, it's also the Ministry of Tourism, you know, it will help them with the agenda of promoting Ghanaian culture. You know, this one is a typical Anlo dressing. You know, you have your jumper inside. The Akan one, you wear it bare-chested. So you mix it, and I think it's good. Yeah. And even our own language, when we can afford, we take the kids to international school and we speak English at home. That's also another problem we need to... That's
a good one. You know, there's actually a debate. There's a debate in the last few days about what language we should use as the primary means of communicating to the children in year 1 to year 3. Yeah. Your good friend, Haruna Drisu, had put it out there. You agree with him that that's just what the focus should be?
Yeah, we should. I mean, it helps. There's a whole alienation. Our kids, like the international schools in Ghana, I think I raised this thing in 2018 in Parliament, but nobody really listened. All the international schools in Ghana, we have diplomats coming in. They want to take something away from Ghana. None of the international schools has, as part of its teaching curriculum, having a Ghanaian language. At least the international schools should be encouraged, though they have their independence and all, but you know, they have to factor in our culture and say, look, pick a Ghanaian language so that the child would learn, especially those who come stay here 5 years as short-term diplomats, some international organizations, expatriates, bringing their kids here, staying in Ghana for 10 years and all. It would be a source of pride for that child himself or herself, growing up back home and saying that I lived in Ghana when I was a little boy for 10 years, 5 years, and I can speak Twi, I can speak Ga, I can speak ever. I can speak Hausa, I can speak Dagbani, I can speak Efutu. It helps to sell the country. So we should not look at it differently. And I pray that the respected Minister of Tourism will take this up seriously. It's something that we can do. You know, when we say investment, bringing investment to Ghana, it's not all about just waiting for a policy document and saying that bring your money here. People consider all manner of things before they decide that, okay, I'm taking my money to this particular destination. It's the way of life, the people, how they live, and the level of acceptability. All those things come to play that encourage people to say, okay, this is the right investment destination. So we should take it up. And Ghana is all we have, you know. Within the sub-region, we've really advanced. Today, the Ugandan opposition visited me, and the way they were talking about Ghana, I don't think we Ghanaians even talk about our country the way they see us. They're so happy to say, look, you guys have achieved so much for yourselves, and they are so proud of us, and say, look, they don't get that in their country. And within our own sub-region, Ghana is a heaven, you know. People want to come here. So it means that we have a lot more to achieve if we get the parameters right. I mean, get the little variables that can sell the country. If we get them right and we rally around it, we should get there. And we'll create jobs through that and create opportunities for our people.
Let me take you to Parliament, where you are the minority leader. You know, before you went for the recess, you had 88 minority members. You returned, now you have 87. That put in a bigger context of the NDC having 185 now. As I said at the beginning, there's no minority leader who has faced this dynamic before.
Correct.
How are you, when you sit back, you reflect on it, do you feel overwhelmed?
Not at all. I'm not in any way worried about the numbers. Like I indicated in my opening remarks, it's about the substance.
We don't believe in numbers, we believe in substance.
Yes.
We'll confront you with substance.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
But substance is not constitutional power. Constitutional power is in the numbers in Parliament. Two-thirds majority is where the power is.
Before the final destination, you need to demonstrate your weight. And for me, that is what enriches democracy. The state we find ourselves as a party, though a novel in a sense, in terms of the numbers, but in context, the situation has happened before. To the NDC, I draw a lot of inspiration from the Bagbin era NDC opposition. Look, this was a party that had its own roots in revolution. PNDC, military dictatorship, 11 years. They transitioned into democracy. So a total of 20 years, more or less. And the first time they lost power, total confusion. Bagbin was brought from obscurity, backbench or middle bench, made a leader. Kufuor enjoyed a huge goodwill. In 2001, nobody wanted to hear NDC. In fact, it was difficult for them to even appear on radio programs. But they put themselves together in the midst of the confusion, such that by 2004, they had managed to snatch back some of the very seats we are taking from them, like Ashaiman seat, like Ladadiko Topon seat, and many others. They had momentum on their side because of the hard work, the determination of the Bagbin-led minority. Then by 2008, they surprised the nation. MPP perhaps thought all was well, we're going to have a walk in the park. Then Professor Mills, who had been written off, made a strong showing, pushed the election into round 2, and then by round 3, we're down. So for me, it tells me a story. I've been reading about the Hansard watching videos, how they strategized. They were collective. They were determined. And as a politician, you should not be shy of your weakness. Look, you come into government, you have your success story, you have your failings.
What's your weakness?
We're not here to talk about my weakness. We can talk about the weakness of the party.
The party?
That
and the group in Parliament.
Yes, we had the opportunity. We were faced with some huge challenges. We tried, but we were not too successful. Typical example, Galamsey. It was a great concern. The global crisis that hit us with COVID, and then eventually we had to stabilize the economy. And in stabilizing the economy meant that certain hard decisions had to be taken. We lost the middle class, our own base, the businessmen, because there was some haircut. Pensioners, educated people who ordinarily would vote NPP got disappointed to the extent that a former Chief Justice who was appointed by our own administration, who ordinarily would have her love for our party, was on the streets fighting for her pension. It's understandable. So all these things more or less took away the shine, the free SHS we had introduced, that had benefited many Ghanaian families. Ours is to create a platform to build the human resource capacity of the Ghanaian people. We did that successfully. We brought in the 1D1F, a major boost for the private sector, where people were to benefit from that tax break and use that to reinvest. That 1D1F attracted a lot of companies who felt that, wow, if in Ghana you can set up your industry, have tax-free on your raw material and machinery, then they found Ghana as a great destination for business. They were here. Eventually, all these gains, because of our inability to meet the higher expectation of the Ghanaian people, we lost out. Okay? I hold the view that in spite of all of these disappointments, we should still let the Ghanaian people know the good things we did. It's very important. And we shouldn't shy away from our success stories. Recently, in a debate in Parliament, the majority leader said, oh, we initiate social intervention policies and they implement. And I challenge him as a leader. Tell us, your party, NDC, a single social intervention program your party since 1992 has initiated and implemented successfully. They have zero. If you talk about free SHS, you talk about 1D, 1F for the private sector, you talk about school feeding, you talk about the mass transport system, you talk about health insurance. These are major social intervention programs that help the economy, that change the lives of people. I always say that but for Parkway Sindom's bursary, I sitting here wouldn't have completed the SHS. And I know many of my classmates in Winneba who completed the BEC with
Parkway Sindom, sir.
Parkway Sindom, Dr. Parkway Sindom, in St. Augustine's final year. By the way, the parents of my friends supported my fees. Year 1, year 2, and by year 3, things were bad. My mom was out of work. My stepdad had been demoted. He was at Pomazi Pottery. They were not being paid. He got demoted because of politics. They say he had followed Kufuor 96 elections. So he was demoted and transferred and made a watchman. From a mason foreman, he was sent to Ankafo. That's where Pomazi Pottery had some old machines. And he was sent there. So, and Pomazi Pottery business was going down. So they were not being paid. All right. So I was almost dropping out. But Indom brought his bursary and said, he said anybody who would break his record, should get that bursary. And it was competition. So it wasn't even for a brilliant but poor child. So it was competition. And by the grace of God, I won it. I'm saying that, but for that, I would have dropped out of St. Augustine's College. And I know many of my colleagues who couldn't make it to secondary school. So for that free SHS, with all the criticism that there is and all that, many people today, you look for house helps, you look for a gardener in your home, and you ask him, he will tell you, I have SHS, I've completed SHS. It wasn't the case before. And many homes, poor and rich, have benefited. And we know that. Health, even in America today, the mighty United States, the mighty United Kingdom, in Europe, healthcare is a big deal. Healthcare is a big deal. Today, Ghana, if we get the structures right, we introduce health insurance. Many people who otherwise could not afford healthcare are benefiting from it.
I mean, this government is going to implement the free primary health care.
Well, I am on the back of what? Health insurance. On the back of the health insurance. Okay? Now, the school feeding.
No fee stress for year ones in university.
The school feeding. The school feeding. Many homes. You may think that people can afford 3 square meals, but there are many homes that could not afford to feed their kids. Because of that, that child could not even go to school. Kufuor identified that and introduced it, and over a period, government after government, succeeded in sustaining that. The LEAP program, Livelihood Empowerment program, and then the free maternal care. All these were interventions that were introduced by the MPP stock. We are a center-right party, believing in a free market, believing in rule of law, believing in creating an opportunity for all. People say it's an elitist party. Yes, it will take an elitist party to create a social intervention program to create an elite class. If you introduce free SHS, you want many more people to become elite, to be educated, to have the capability to become employable. So I will not shy away from being told that I belong to an elite party because it has the ideas, the value system to create an opportunity for many more to become elite, to create an opportunity for the private sector. These were the successes. However, I concede that we couldn't have created a perfect environment. So for me, with this in mind, I believe that if we sit together and brand the party and give assurances to the Ghanaian voter, the many who could not even vote or who were disappointed and did not vote, why? We have 41%. We have 87%. But I know of many of the seats that we lost with less than 1,000 votes.
But you think the party has learned the lessons? Do you see, you are in there. Have you seen enough among your colleagues to say that the party has learned the lessons and is ready to apply them?
It is not,
to rebrand.
It is not a one-day matter. Listen, running a political party... Don't worry.
Have you seen enough now at these early stages after the elections?
We've demonstrated our determination, not to the satisfaction of everybody, but from where I sit, I see that determination of the party machinery to move on and to transform and get certain things done. You see, we have an internal election ahead of us. This primaries ahead of us is a big deal, and I'm happy that we have 5 gentlemen of our stock, of their own rights, hard-working, determined. They've made their name in the party. So bold, courageous, to say that, look, we want to take the flag and bring you victory. That in itself tells me that the party has a future. A party that is not attractive will not have these gentlemen ready and competing for the top slots.
Why? I mean, 2 of them at least have tried before and failed. At least we've had Bawumia tried before. He failed at the national elections, but he ran a primary the last time. Kennedy Pontu was a Kwabena Depot have done it before. So these people who have always shown ambition.
Not necessarily ambition for personal gain, but ambition to use the party to serve the country. And for me, the fact that they remain that determined, that fire in their belly keeps burning, gives me assurance that there's hope for the party. Because you see, a party that has no future will not have people wasting their time to use its brand to serve at all. They would say they will go independent. So that in itself is a good start for us. By 31st January, we get done with this. A leader is chosen. Once that leader is chosen, manifesto committee will be set up. Then the proper rebranding starts, because whoever is chosen as a leader comes with his vision, a vision that will be interlocked with the vision of the party, our ideology, what we stand for. Then we set in motion the process.
In the meantime, though, let's come to Parliament on this subject. 63 of your colleagues in the minority last week held a press conference declaring for Bawumia. The others obviously means you have 87 now. It means others also belong to other camps. How are you managing the various positions taken, which often tend to divide rather than unite? And of course, you are the leader. You need all of them united for this fight that you're going to take on, considering your numbers already. How are you managing that?
I think so far, the MPs who have declared in one way or the other have been decent. Initially, my concern was how those who would declare openly will manage themselves. You recall that I came out openly to say that, look, let's be very neutral. And my good reason was that after the primaries, we, the leaders in Parliament, would have to do some legwork, do what I call the midnight walking, get people together here and there. Therefore, there will be, to make yourself a credible referee who would be trusted by various factions, it's better for you to stay neutral at least, not openly declare. Some disagreed. We are in a democracy. And for those who disagreed, they have chosen to go about their views decently. For me, that is commendable. And I will continue to encourage those who are showing faces that, look, I belong to Mr. A, Mr. B. Sell the message of your candidate. For me, as a leader, I cannot.
So you haven't taken a position?
No, I cannot publicly say I am going to campaign for this person.
So you haven't endorsed anybody?
I don't have to because of where I sit.
But you have a horse in the race?
I'm saying that I cannot
publicly, but privately?
Can we stay there? I cannot publicly.
But privately you do have a horse in the race?
I have a role to play in the aftermath of the January 31st. All right? I played a major role in 2023. The dynamics haven't changed much. And where I sit, I see some work that will require a lot of energy after 31st January. So if I would have to play that role, show my hand openly, it will be difficult to be trusted when I am doing that, midnight walking. So at least I think it's appropriate for
and your deputies and other colleagues in leadership with you in Parliament, you expect them to also toe that line?
Well, I've made that point. Some have respectfully made their views known to me.
They did disagree with you?
And said that, leader, ordinarily I would be with you, but I would want to go this way, but I will be decent, which I've already said is good. Some have also said, leader, we think it's better to keep calm and go by this approach. So we're watching, but so far so good. But I do not think that has affected the way we work in Parliament, as a caucus.
It's not making your work more difficult? Because remember, you only have 87 people.
I don't see that happening. And I haven't seen that happening yet.
On that, you are in uncharted territory with 87 against 185 majority. Nobody has been here before, so there's no playbook for what you're trying to deal with.
Yeah.
What's your strategy in dealing with this unprecedented circumstance you find yourself in? After you are done, maybe you can write a book, and then the next guy who comes in who faces the same scenario, maybe will learn from it. But until then, you have to make your mistakes, learn from them, and hope that they don't kill you in the process. So how are you approaching this? 185 against 87.
Well,
they say you are so insignificant, you don't even matter.
I'm sure you don't expect me to put all my cards on the table. But I will just simply answer you by saying that hard work, determination, faith in God, we'll get there.
That seems simple.
Yes, I have to
oversimplifying it.
I would have to put it that way. Because you don't expect me to put all my cards on the table for the cameras. Yeah. A strategy is a strategy. You keep it...
What's your approach? What approach are you going to adopt when you have this significant disadvantage in Parliament, when nobody else has encountered before? And the mantle falls on you, unfortunately, at this time to deal with it. Would you say unfortunate, or are you taking this on as an opportunity?
Well,
because there are two ways to look at this. Flight or fight. What's your approach? Is it one that says, I'm going to take this on, I'm going to win this war, or I'm going to, just respect my role as a minority with just 87 and just play by the ball, play by the NDC's rules? No,
I would never play by their rules. Never. It won't happen. They can't control Parliament.
But you have a choice, though.
I'm saying that they can't control Parliament. You see, if you were a parliamentarian in that chamber, you have to make yourself relevant. You become relevant by studying the rules and knowing your left from your right. NDC cannot control Parliament. You have your numbers, and so what? The only thing you can do with your number is to vote with it. That's it. But democracy is not all about the votes. It's about what you put on the table, the impact you make, how relevant you become as a Democrat. And for me, that should be the focus. I mean, it's not about getting in and being rabble-rousing, making noise here. I would have to pay attention to detail, have a good research done, tackle the issues, and hold government's feet to the fire. For instance, just this week, we raised this issue of they announcing policy today, policy here, policy there, without coming to Parliament for approval. When the heat was on them, you see what the cabinet secretary wrote?
That they should stop announcing
policies. Indeed. It's because you have a vigilant minority in the room.
Are you taking credit for that? For what the cabinet secretary
wrote? Let the action speak for itself. Let the action speak for itself.
And by the way, this is you making the reference to the point you made just last week when you had the joint president. No policy document has been submitted to Parliament for scrutiny.
Yes.
Then you mentioned the Feed Ghana program, big push, 24-hour economy, 1 million coders.
So you see that government now says that ministers stop making announcements.
When cabinet has given approval.
So they now tell them that stop making announcements. Why did they tell them to stop?
But these were announced by the president. The ones that at least you isolated.
Well, we are
announced by the.
We are saying that you announce social intervention programs that are meant to help create jobs and make the people's life better. Our contention, most respectfully, is that since they assumed office, apart from the PR, when they are hot, they only come and then announce a so-called corruption they are investigating somewhere. That's their playbook now. Anytime government is under pressure, Attorney General would do a press conference.
You think that's
Attorney General's place is in the court. My respected friend, the MP, who is an Attorney General and his deputy, I want them to know that their place is in the court.
But they also owe us a duty to update us, to be transparent.
Oh, please.
In what you're doing.
Please. When they are updating you and undermining the authority of the court and disrespecting the rights of people, pronouncing guilty even before going to court, Perhaps they are waiting for Bafuboni to become a chief justice so that they control the court, which I'm finding, I wonder how they are going to achieve.
You're suggesting that if Bafuboni becomes the CJ,
well, they've said so. They've said so. At least we hear them saying it, that they want their CJ and then they can have their preferred judges. That's what they are saying. But we wait to see. We wait to see. That is why they prefer to be in the media, to talk about people's guilt. But it is not in their place to pronounce guilt. The rule of law requires that go to court, make a case. Do you remember the Tagore case?
Yes. In the MV Benjamin cocaine matter.
Correct, the Tagore case.
Yes.
Do you know the person who did the appeal? When Tagore was convicted by Doche, do you know who did the appeal?
Who?
The Attorney General. Yes, he, as a Legon professor, he took up the case on appeal. And one of the things that my Lord Apau said in the ruling, in the judgment of the court, was that the fact that a case becomes a subject matter of public discussion, gains notoriety in the public domain, does not whittle down that burden, that responsibility on prosecution to prove his case or to lead evidence on the essential ingredients. I'm sure the learned Attorney General perhaps has forgotten his own case he did. If he has not forgotten, then he should know that it is not how many times he does a press conference to crucify people that will send the people to jail.
But how do you draw the line between his mandate to be transparent and what you're now pointing out, that he may be crucifying people? He must definitely...
Who defines that so-called mandate to be transparent? Transparent on what?
He's acting on our behalf.
No. Let's.
So his domain is not only the court of competence jurisdiction,
make a general announcement. Say that you are investigating this case. Is simpliciter. In the American system that they use as a justification, they don't go into the details to the extent that it affects the rights of parties involved. They make their general announcement, follow it. They're saying they are copying from the American jurisprudence, where prosecution will come out to update the public. Very well. Nothing stops you from updating the public. After all, we are in an enterprise driven by public opinion and all that. People want to know what you are doing. I agree. But you should know the limits. So far, I don't think that they've been limiting themselves to just mere updates. They go on to pronounce guilt. To the extent that the Attorney General will be arguing in the public space that he will be confiscating. When you have not even secured conviction, how do you talk about confiscation of assets? So let's tread cautiously.
On that subject of oral, the last press conference was about the Buffer Stock Company CEO under the Akufo-Addo administration. The sort of evidence that the Attorney General put on...
Excuse me, hold on.
Allegations.
Evans, respectfully.
Yeah.
You see, this is it. And they managed to poison the minds of Ghanaians.
How do you also...
Listen, you've heard the Attorney General.
Yes.
Have you also given the gentleman and his wife the opportunity...
He issued a statement saying it's not true.
Yes.
Yes.
Simplicity. And you believe the Attorney General?
No, I'm just putting out what the Attorney General says.
But that is wrong. That is where the problem is.
No, but the Attorney General is the Attorney General.
No.
Is our Attorney General.
With respect, he is a politician. He wants his party to look good. All right? They did the same thing to Kwabena Dubois. Somebody who has spent all his life serving the states as a security couple. They came out to say all manner of things. But you know, there are things that are better not said. So it's okay.
What are you hiding?
Time will tell.
What don't you want to say?
Oh, but you heard Donald Rumsfeld.
What does he say?
There are unknown knowns and there are known unknowns. Yeah. It's not everything from where
What are the known knowns?
I'm saying that from where I sit, I must be measured on certain matters. So it's okay. Let's leave it there.
But the sort of revelations he's put out.
Which revelation? Revelation about
it doesn't surprise
much ado about nothing. Excuse me. Much ado about nothing. They should go to court. or give the prosecution the opportunity, the defense opportunity to tell his story. Go and tell your story. Tell your story. Go to the court. Don't look for a court of convenience. Don't look for a judge of your choice. Don't manipulate the court.
But Attorney General cannot manipulate the
court.
Oh,
please. Oh, please.
How?
I'm saying that they should have the automated system of assigning cases. The automated system that Georgina Wood introduced. They should let that one function.
Did it function under talk?
Of course, we've always had an automated system. I'm saying that they should allow it to function. Currently, they know what they are doing. But even so...
Did it function under Godfrey Dame?
Even so, you may succeed at one point. But a point higher, a level higher, you may not succeed. It may be at the High Court, you may think you have won. At the Court of Appeal, there will be three. At the Supreme Court, there will be 5 and 7. So, you cannot manipulate the essential ingredients.
I mean, are our courts that weak?
For instance,
to give an Attorney General that leeway to manipulate
they are creating an impression that they can make the court weak. That's the impression they are creating. From how they have hounded out the Chief Justice, how they so determined to get rid of her, and the way they have manipulated the entire system. Listen, 3 petitions were filed. We are told by the Council of State that they found prima facie evidence against the Chief Justice. So a referral is made to a committee made up of some judges and other eminent citizens as provided for by the Constitution. And what did we hear? Upon completing the hearing of one petition, and the committee is setting a date for the second petitioner's petition to be heard. The second petitioner's lawyers caused a letter. The second petitioner's lawyers wrote to the committee asking for a long date. It means they were not even ready. They who had petitioned were not ready for their case to be heard. Out of the blue, a report is prepared and sent to the president. You gave the person on the 15th that come for the hearing of the second petition. On the 2nd, a report was already prepared. Within 2 hours, Chief Justice is removed. Read in between the lines.
Last week, Thaddeus Sori was in the same scene.
And what did he say?
I asked him the same question. He says he was also given the same timeline to file the addresses.
I'm not talking about even the filing of addresses.
That's not what you're referring to.
No. I'm not going into that one. I am saying that you referred 3 petitions. The committee was seized with 3 petitions. With respect, Thaddeus Sori is my very respected senior. In fact, he inspired me a lot at the bar. And I would always respect him. He knows that. I know that. We have respect for each other. But I know that senior Thaddeus Sori, wearing that legal hat that I so much respect him for, would argue any day against the conduct of the committee within the context of receiving 3 petitions, refer to them, and they're saying that they are done with 1, so they are done with their work. What they have done has basically rendered the 2 other petitions odious.
Yeah, of course. Well, there's nothing wrong with that, is it?
You think so?
I mean, if they found her guilty on 1, it's enough, isn't it?
Oh, so the others don't matter. I'm saying that I want lawyers who have practiced the law, and we respect them for that, to state publicly for posterity to record them, and we'll make reference to them someday. In any event, again, listen to something. My Lord Bafuboni, who is the beneficiary of all of this, was in a hurry to abridge time for the hearing of the injunction applications. Whereas in the substantive matter, he was not in a hurry to hear them. Did you see what the Attorney General filed? Now asking for extension of time. Meanwhile, there is a nomination before Parliament for Parliament to vet and approve. And then you have a case at the Supreme Court. And I'm making this appeal to all the judges at the Supreme Court.
That?
They should know that now it is they, the courts, that are undermining the very rule of law. Because
how exactly?
One of your colleagues, a matter is before you. You know that it affects her rights. You were in a hurry to hear the injunction applications and you determine it. There's a substantive matter that touches on the law. You could use the same haste to determine it. Why are they still in abeyance? Why is the Attorney General refusing to file the necessary processes and is now asking for extension of time? In the ECOWAS court, processes that were filed, the AG has still not filed a response. Why? So you want to shut your eyes on them, quickly put in Bafuboni, so then you've rendered everything nugatory. That's what you want to achieve.
But these same accusations were leveled against Tokono.
That's what did she do?
That in cases that suited her,
which
she
cases
quickly had it quickly.
Specifically?
In fact, in one of the petitions against the CJ,
yes,
they mentioned one of the exactly.
But Afenyo-Markin
was a case in point.
Hold on. What did she do wrong in the Afenyo-Markin case? A constitutional matter of that urgent nature had been occasioned by a pronouncement by the Speaker. Government business had been stalled, and you don't think that a constitutional court had a bona fide responsibility in that circumstance to consider and determine the matter? I'm surprised. Why those arguments? People trivialize everything. In any event, what was her interest in the Afenyo-Markin case against the Speaker? What was Tokonu's interest? The Chief Justice, what was her interest? Did she have any interest personal to her other than the Constitution?
The accusation is that she had an MPP interest.
Oh, come on.
That's the accusation.
Let's be fair. Let's be fair. So Bafuboni also has an NDC interest. That is why he was in a hurry to empanel, to abridge time, to determine the injunction, get them dismissed. But the substantive matter, she will shut his eyes on it. I'm waiting on when my Lord Bafuboni would empanel the court to look into the substantive matters, those by the Chief Justice herself and other civil society organizations, even the High Court one.
You're saying...
even the High Court one.
You're alleging that Bafuboni is slowing down this particular case to advance his own personal interest?
By his conduct, it's obvious. By his conduct. But otherwise, what is he waiting for? The matter is before you. Why? He has the responsibility to empanel. In any event, there's also another matter. The one challenging the warrant of a removal at the High Court. You know the Attorney General has made a referral to the Supreme Court for interpretation. Why has that one not been heard? Why are they not adding speed? This is not the first time. You refer to the matter of Afenyo-Markin as that the court was in a hurry. In the Eyi Mensah case, my Lord Atuguba was the presiding judge in that 7-member panel. In the Zanato case, where a referral was made to the Supreme Court, challenging suitability to contest as a member on the ticket of the NDC, it was expeditiously considered. All right? So it is not the first time that a court has looked at the circumstances of the case and decided to waive the timelines for the filing of processes. Even under Bafuboni himself, my Lord Bafuboni himself, all the injunction applications, he waived the requirement for 14 days.
On the subject of the removal of the CJ.
Let me put it, let me conclude on that.
Briefly.
He waived the requirement for that 14-day notice where you have 7 days to receive and then file an order. He waived it within days. 3-4 days, the matter was heard and determined. With respect.
On that subject of the removal of the CJ, you've said, quote, the removal of the Chief Justice lacks transparency. the so-called Puaman report remains a secret document, and we, the minority...
But have you seen, you are...
Just a second, I'll come to that. We, the minority, shall not relent on our demand for a copy and full disclosure of this report. What's the progress on this?
Oh, we have all our cards on the table. We'll make known to the country how we intend proceeding on it with time.
How exactly?
Step by
Because
step.
you said this some time back.
We are in Parliament.
What processes do you plan to activate?
We have the rules in Parliament.
To get this?
Don't worry. You will get to know.
Because it is now the preserve of the president.
Don't worry.
It was given to him.
We'll use the appropriate rules provided for by law to demand for...
But there's no precedent for this, right? The last time anybody was removed under Article 146, I don't recall that the full report was published.
It doesn't matter. Let us invoke the law. There's always a first time.
Also because the process must be in camera. So the entire constitutional architecture was designed to keep it in secret.
So that the public legitimate expectation to know.
Well, until review the constitution,
not necessarily, you see,
it is a law.
No, you see, that is, with the greatest respect, a rather myopic way of interpreting that provision. Yes, in camera, to the extent that you want to ensure some decency in the manner you handle the matter. But if it is in the public interest, the public interest rule will require that the citizens are informed. If you say misbehavior, stated misbehavior, and therefore the woman should lose all her entitlement, lose her office and all. Any stakeholder in an enterprise like this would want to know. And that is a legitimate demand and nothing more. So I think that it is appropriate, especially...
But you're dealing with the constitutional provision.
Especially looking, I'm saying that the constitutional provision must be interpreted.
So you're going to Supreme Court?
In a manner... Oh, you still want...
Because you use the word interpreted.
You want to...
Once you use that word...
But you are interpreting, somebody is interpreting. Those who are interpreting it, giving meaning to it, haven't gone for court.
So will you go to the Supreme Court?
Oh, please, I'm saying that there are rules of procedures. There are ways to look for, get answers. We would explore that, rather respectfully and decently.
Will you vet Bafoboni?
Oh, all our cards are on the table. We'll get there.
Including not vetting him and boycotting the vetting. Because you are the ranking on that. You are the vice chair.
Boycotting is out.
So categorically, you will not boycott
We will not boycott it. Anybody who is expecting us to boycott, I say here and now, we will never boycott it.
So what will you do instead?
We will do what is right. He himself must know that there is a Chief Justice. He himself must know.
And who is the Chief Justice?
He knows who is the Chief Justice.
I'm asking you. You suggested
he knows who the Chief Justice is.
They only act, there's an acting Chief Justice.
So he knows that he's acting.
Yes.
He knows he's acting and he knows that there's a substantive Chief Justice.
And who is that?
The lady has a case before you. You know that you are to empanel. If you want to rule, empanel the court, determine the matter, and then bring a finality, then we can talk.
You're saying that Getu Tokono is still the substantive CJ?
Well, it is to be known by him that it is the case. The woman has a case before you challenging the processes. You've refused to empanel the court.
But the warrant of the president is final.
The president has discharged his constitutional duty.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about the president.
So
I'm talking about the processes. Listen to me. I'm talking about the processes and her rights as a citizen of Ghana and a public office holder. You see, let's not personalize the matter. Look at it from the constitutional point of view. Look at it in a broader interest of the country and ask yourself, is it right? My Lord Puaman, when he came for vetting, we were in opposition. There were petitions against him at the General Legal Council. And some people were pushing that because of that, we should not approve him. You know what Katie Amon said? No, it's not right. Parliament as we hear, there hasn't been any pronouncement. Therefore, we should go ahead with our work. And we did. It was fair to him then. All right? Look at the reverse order. Someone has a case before the court, and you know how the gravity of that case, and you know that it affects the very office she occupies. So the Supreme Court, led by my Lord Bafuboni, is now telling us that it really doesn't matter. The woman has a case there, but there should still be a new Chief Justice. What does that mean? You are concluding that the matter will get nowhere. In any event, if eventually you empanel and she wins the case, what happens to him himself? When my Lord Tokonu wins a case at the Supreme Court, what happens to he, Bafuboni?
Then she's reinstated.
Then he will resign.
It just follows.
Wouldn't it be prudent, therefore, for all matters pending to be determined so that we know that there's a finality to it? Wouldn't it be prudent to consider that path?
So as far as you're concerned, Get to Tokon is a substantive CJ?
Well, to the extent that she has her cases pending at the court, and those cases are yet to be determined, it would be unfair to consider her out of office. It would be unfair.
In spite of the warrant issued by the president.
Well, I'm saying that as for the president, he's issued his warrant, all right?
In spite of the findings of the commission.
I'm talking about the processes leading. The mainstay of my argument is about the processes.
I mean,
the committee's work vis-a-vis the very matter before the Supreme Court and the High Court and the conduct of the Attorney General.
I mean, it follows then, based on your argument, that you will not regard Bafuboni as acting CJ and the nomination of the president.
I'm saying that no.
The nomination of the president. Because if it's a substantive CJ.
No, don't put words in my mouth.
If it's a substantive CJ.
Evans, with respect.
Then Bafuboni cannot be
with respect.
vetted.
The Constitution says that the president has the power to suspend. He's exercised that discretion. We criticize him, but he's exercised that discretion. The woman, her leadership challenged that action. Is pending before the court with an injunction and a substantive action. My problem here is that why did the Bafuboni-led court decide to be selective, acted on the injunction, yet left the substantive matter in abeyance? Bad faith. Today, he is the beneficiary of the vacancy, so-called. Any right-thinking Ghanaian should see this as being very repugnant to good conscience, with respect, in all humility. He is a justice of the Supreme Court, an acting Chief Justice, knowing that his colleague has a matter before the very court that needs to be considered. That matter has not been considered, yet you are being nominated in her place for stated misbehavior. When you know, can we ask a question? My Lord Bafuboni, if this thing was done to you, how would you react? How would you feel? My Lord Puaman, when he appeared before Parliament, if we had said that the mere fact that someone has filed a petition at General Legal Council, so we're not going to consider. You are guilty already. How would he feel then? Would he have become a justice of the Supreme Court? So I'm saying that let's weigh the scale. Weigh the scale. Hold the scales of justice with equal poise. Let your prejudice coincide with the just line of your actions, your conduct. And in all of these, you, the judges at the Supreme Court, should have posterity in view. That one day, it may be you.
Is that a threat?
Oh, how can I
or
threaten?
A promise?
No, I'm saying that things play out. Don't we hear them all the time?
We do.
It is today, Tokonu, if we don't add our voice and say that, look, this is not right, let's straighten them. It's like the LGBT thing.
I'll come to that.
The Uber Pepper thing. That our friends.
I'll come to that.
Our friends were all over the roof. They thought they had gotten us by the neck.
I'll come to that.
They held our throat.
I'll come to that.
And denying us of every opportunity.
So you're saying that
today, they say they don't want
the fate of Tokonu can befall anybody.
Anybody. It can be anybody. Look, for those who are lining up to become Chief Justice, we've heard it. I'm not going to talk about it. But you see, I say, oh, them crucifying. When you talk to people, sometimes when you talk to some of these judges, it's not as if they are even talking about the case. Oh, no, mamino, or to say, no, you're friendly. And is it about Tokonu being friendly or not being friendly? Or Ninipan Kasa ye, and on a Kasem. Wouldn't you judge or the Asama betu with him? Ye unity. Because ebe favor wunti. Ebe favor wunti. Yam pamono.
To it, because it will favor them, they should remove her.
Yam pamono. Na semunu unke yo.
You haven't finished adjudicating the matter. By the way, I want to take a break. When I return, Osahin Alexander Afenyo-Markin, my guest. When I return, we'll talk about the LGBTQ. You touched on it. What really did he say on the floor? And what it was pregnant with meaning, what he said. What can the majority side expect from him on this particular matter? And then also the subject of Galamsey. He said it already, that is one of the reasons why they lost elections last year. It's still playing out this year. I wonder what his side will be doing to hold government's feet to the fire on the subject. Stay with me after this break. And thank you very much for staying with us here on PMX. My guest is still Osahin Alexander Afenyo-Markin. He is the minority leader. And my attention has been drawn to a case, actually, that the Supreme Court has already decided on. Is His Lordship Justice Paul Utoderi versus Tiger IPI and the Honorable Chief Justice of the Republic of Ghana and the Attorney General. If you remember that case, on the back of the Anas work. And if you go to page 8 of the judgment of the court, it gives clarity on what you can do with the decided case once the committee's work is done. That Article 146 committee that the Constitution prescribes. Reading it on page 8 is on the judgment is very clear that once the proceedings are ongoing, you cannot disclose its content and what is happening there, the content of the petition, to anybody besides the president, the petitioners themselves, the committee members, and the justice who's being sought to be removed. However, this is what it found when it comes to after the proceedings are completed. And it says, I want to read that. It's a very short quote. It says, the public is not completely deny the right to know, but, and this raises the point that I was talking about. That was why the court decided in the J-Chum case that the right to know was curtailed in favor of the right to confidentiality. But the curtailment of free speech is not a permanent act. The public is not completely denied the right to know. But it says, the rights of the people are merely postponed for a time,
exactly,
lest the purpose of Article 1468 should be defeated. And then he said, we will emphasize these clear constitutional provisions must be respected if the intent and purpose are not rendered nugatory, which is to keep the proceedings private and confidential.
So postpone. And
then he says, in fact, to be more precise, it says here, that consequently, our view is that a disclosure of the contents of the petition to persons who are not entitled to receive them, that is, persons beside the President, the Chief Justice, and the members of the committee that is set up to investigate the complaint, will be contrary to Article 1468 of the Constitution. Once the committee's work is concluded and it has submitted its report, the constitutional injunction no longer applies.
Exactly.
As we shall shortly explain, it suffices to say that at this stage that there will be no proceedings pending as to be protected by the Constitution after the committee has concluded its work
Evans,
and its report has reached the President.
Okay, so Evans, by parity of reasoning. The Chief Justice, in this case, is the Chief Justice herself, not any other Justice of the Supreme Court or Superior Court of Adjudicature, who is involved. Now, does she have any right of appeal? Can she pick the report and challenge the outcome? Because it's about her reputation. Now, this is a situation whereby the Chief Justice has been removed. The warrant that was issued by His Excellency the President, which warrant with a covering letter signed by Secretary to President was transmitted to her, did not have the report attached there too. As we speak, it's been announced to the whole world. My Lord Puaman has signed a report with my Lord Asiedu and others saying that their colleague is guilty of stated misbehavior. Yet the report is not...
Has she applied for a copy?
Must she apply? Isn't it a matter of course? Isn't it a right to be given? The person is an affected party. That's why I'm saying that great lawyers like Thaddeus, as I know, how I wish he was the respondent lawyer. His understanding of the law, as I know, will not give a dog chance on these matters. But you know, that's for another day. That's for another day. My point is that, how can you say you are done with your work? The person who is affected does not have a copy. You've kept her in the dark. And you are an acting Chief Justice. You are happily celebrating your nomination, that we should vet you to become a Chief Justice. Meanwhile, she has cases pending before you. And there are judges at the Supreme Court. And they are not to empanel themselves. It's the acting Chief Justice who is to empanel judges to look into this matter. There are cases there. There's a referral. The Attorney General in the High Court case has filed the process at the Supreme Court. When would that be heard?
Well, you make the point. Let me take you back to Parliament. Let me take you back to Parliament for a second. Last week when Parliament resumed, you said something that was pregnant with meaning. That, and you said it to Chi, minority for majority, when it comes to LGBTQ. What did you mean by that? And you got a response from the majority leader. He says the bill has already been passed.
Okay, that's okay.
That should make you happy.
Okay, so the bill has been passed.
That's the...
Why is then the president should sign it? If the majority leader's contention is that the 8th Parliament passed the bill, so Parliament is done with its work, then His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama should sign the bill.
He sent it on the floor to you.
No. So he is the leader of government business. He sits in cabinet. Then he should get the bill signed. You see, it's most unfortunate. And that's why I was saying that, you know, we were holding the javelin. And they picked the scorpion, placed it on that javelin. Fortunately, today, the javelin is in their hand, and that scorpion is sitting on it. You see, when this LGBT issue came up, we struggled. I was a majority leader. It started when I was deputy. It's not everything I can disclose, but I'll just tell you a bit of it. We discussed, the two political parties, we discussed at the highest level. I mean at the highest level. And there was consensus that it was needless.
Both NDC and PP.
I am telling you, quote me. I'm telling the whole world today. I was part of the discussion. Up to a point, I was leading the discussion. That we operate in an international ecosystem.
Sorry, forgive me. When you say highest level, you mean the leadership in Parliament or
no, take
party?
my words like that. You see, it's not everything. Please, I mean, Evans, you've been in this business, please.
Evans, also because of what
you said. A bit of ambiguity helps in all conversations. I know which words to choose. Permit me on that one. I beg you.
Let's clarify. Is it in Parliament or outside Parliament? Or both? That is ambiguous enough, but at least gives me a sense of clarity on something. You
don't want me to have a good flow?
No, just gives clarity. Higher level.
You don't want me to have a good flow. You know we don't have time.
So there's consensus. You said.
I am saying at the highest level, we engaged them. I repeat, at the highest level. And there was that consensus that considering how the international ecosystem will react to this, we should tread cautiously. Then at the leadership level in Parliament, there was also a certain level of understanding. They also expressed their own concerns that, look, this is something that they have put out. So to chicken out that there's already an existing law will be difficult. So we had to go back and still discuss back and forth. And then the final consensus was that, okay, look, by our Ghanaian value system, we don't really agree to this gay rights, etc., etc. So some individuals who were pushing a certain agenda against the country, the stakeholders, we sat with them. And I was a leader of government business then. And we had several discussions. In the end, the compromise was that, okay, you can pass your law, but the bit of incarceration, the post-conviction sentencing, where the person will be incarcerated to go to jail, because the country itself is moving away from a post-sentencing custodial
to non-custodial
to a non-custodial sentencing regime. That would be a safe landing for all parties. So if you check the Hansard, I filed a motion to amend that bit so that all others remain. That one too last minute, our friends hit us hard. And that hot afternoon, like you said, I wasn't a lucky man. Assumed leadership in a 137 at that tail end of the regime, the administration. It was not easy for me, all right? My friend Ato Forson could not look me eye to eye. I will call Ato, he will look elsewhere. The chief whip, Kwame, I will go. I was literally crying, Kwame, let's save our country. He will look you and say, Kwame na, you know, it's not me. Oh. Then they will be tossing you, go here. Go and see this, our big man. You go there, midnight, early morning. You go and wait. They say, oh, okay. Then last minute they say, oh, it's our boys. You know that kind of plausible deniability, that game, eh? They will say, oh, it's the back bench. Then some judge will come in, I'll call some. You, at least, let's compromise on this. Then you also, I'll get back to you. I need to talk to my bosses. Meanwhile, the same bosses are saying you are the problem. Look, it was not easy for us. But I also realized that they knew that they had psyched the mind of the population in a certain way. And they saw power. So for them, it was a good experiment in Afenyo. You know, the whole of Afenyo campaign was that MPP was bringing LGBT, that MPP for say, Obani, Oba, and Wari. That was their whole campaign. And once it passed in Afenyo and it worked for them, come on, they were not ready to sit with us. Now today, you are in government. You are in government today. And the same international community is watching you. You see how Mr. President navigated around it when the Catholic bishops visited him in the early days. He said, oh, this LGBT thing, maybe when Parliament passes a law and it is not signed because that Parliament is gone and we don't have the new Parliament, maybe the Attorney General would have to look at it. You know the way Mr. President was being very diplomatic. His words were navigating, we're watching, okay? And to date, Attorney General has not done anything. And now Mr. President was even talking about broader consultation. But your party wanted a bill, and you liked it the way it was. So Mubape. It's as simple as that. Now the thing is advertised. Some people start threatening them. We know where the threat came from.
Where?
I won't tell you. They should tell you where the threat came from. Then the next one, they came and said, the clerk to parliament was not authorized to advertise the bill. So it's been removed. And now my respected colleague, the majority leader, tells us that, the bill has already been passed. Now, let's look at two sides. If his argument is that the bill has been passed, then Mr. President should sign it. We don't have a problem. You wanted it, so take it.
You didn't want it then?
My position hasn't changed.
So you still don't want it?
I'm saying that my position hasn't changed. We operate in an international ecosystem where there are certain challenges. In governance, we must sit down. You know, it's like this Galamsey thing. If we, the two political parties, don't sit down and talk about it and find a way out in the national interest and want to play politics with that, look, it will come and bite us, and Ghana will lose. And that is all I want our friends to understand.
So how do you plan to hold their feet to the fire then this time and exact?
Why do you want a full disclosure of strategy here? It's not possible.
No,
You
it's
get
just a
it.
question. Because all you said,
sorry,
Omobepe.
it's a simple question, but wait and see. Omobepe. And the answer is...
How are you going to force them to pay?
Wait, we are in parliament, are they? Say you are in parliament. Anna. Election when we need we say bill no more
but there's a difference though.
So then what's the difference?
They in last year they had the numbers. You're almost at par. Now they have 185, you have 87. So
they should use their numbers to pass it.
So if they don't want to pass it.
They don't want to pass it?
If
they don't want to pass it? They don't want LGBT law? I want them to make that pronouncement so that Ghanaians will hear. So that we'll go to the electorate with the story again. That these are hypocrites. These are opportunists, political.
So it is a political capital you want to milk?
Not me milking. It's not me milking. It's their conduct, their actions, the bad faith. The bad faith.
And you won't relent?
Relent on what?
Relent on getting them to
Why?
sign.
As in, there is forgiveness in this matter. This is not about what my Lord Jesus told us about forgiveness. It's about principle. You say that you want to enact a law that would incarcerate a person found guilty. Stick to it. Why would you want to change? Because now you are in government, so you are seeing the reality. No.
I have a minute to wrap up on Galamsey. You again touched on it.
You see,
the government says they're doing quite a bit. They have 9 months. They're arresting a lot of people.
No. They are doing nothing.
In your home region, central region, the Kwenyako now has been. They've opened the the headworks there. And that's a sign that, at least from the regional minister, that some progress has been made.
They've spent a lot. I was chair of Ghana Water. A lot has been spent for water treatment. That in itself is not enough. You see, let me go back to 2010.
Briefly, because...
Yes, briefly. We were warned by Anas in his documentary in 2010. We didn't heed to it. 2015, the finance minister, Tetekwe, made a strong case on this matter before the finance committee. He was discussing the effect of Galamsey on cocoa production. Then we came into office and we took the fight. Civil society organization joined. But it became, again, a partisan thing. The structures to fight it were not strong enough, I must admit. And our friends milked it, chewed us, made a huge fuss about it. They are now in government. They've set up the gold board. They are buying gold from all manner of sources. They don't care where the gold is coming from. I don't see any seriousness in the fight against Galamsey. I've not seen structures, manifest structures.
But they have set up a few.
What are they?
They have NIMOS now dealing with the matter. They're investing in water cleansing technology. I'm aware, for example, that the
water cleansing technology.
Yeah.
So Galamsey should continue.
I mean, it's part of
the water cleansing will take away all the heavy metals.
Whilst you deal with the root cause, you also have to deal with the symptoms.
How are they dealing with the root cause?
NIMOS is dealing with it.
They called for a state of emergency.
Is dealing with it.
My respected friend, Ama Kofi-Boa, on City FM, Channel 1 TV, called for immediate state of emergency to be declared.
They declared the security zones. And they are stationing permanent military units in the areas affected.
You see, our friends acted out of political convenience. But I have told them that on this Galamsey issue, I'm ready to sit with them if they really have a formidable plan. Because it's something that affects the entire nation. Let's stop this partisan politics. You see, it makes we, the political leaders, look unserious. People don't respect us. Civil society look at us with a certain eye. And I think that enough of the politics. Really enough of the politics. National interest first. You can talk politics. You can talk partisan politics. But it gets to a point. You can't continue that way. It's a serious matter. Winneba, there's no Galamsey there. But the effect of Galamsey is affecting us. For weeks, there was no water. Today, you cannot have clean water.
Is it flowing now?
It comes.
Okay.
But are we sure of the water we are drinking? How many people can buy bottled water or even sachet water? That is all we depend on to brush our teeth.
Osahin Alexander Kwamina
Cook.
Afenyo-Markin. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
I'm looking forward to a lot more of this.
No, you remember those GBC? They used to do more of African print, Kente and GTP. I think multimedia should take it up. I don't see you guys in Kente.
We do in Ghana month. I guess we should return.
No, it should be regular.
Okay.
It should be a routine. And tourism minister must now whip all of us to fall in line.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of your evening.